Hey there guys, welcome back to Hursty Games and welcome to a video based on some FIFA 19 predictions. As I'm sure you've seen in the title of the video, today we are going to be predicting some of the potential one-to-watch cards in FIFA 19. Now for me personally, one-to-watch is one of the best promotions that FIFA have kind of introduced in recent years. Now that's because I think having like the cards you can get that you can buy as their base form and it's like an investment, and I am a bit more of an investment trader than like really mass bid and buy and all of this stuff. Like I do the little ones about mass bid and buy kind of thing, but I prefer to buy a card and wait for its price to go up, which can be a tricky thing to predict, but often one-to-watches are a fairly safe bet. Now I have been playing the FIFA 19 beta. There aren't one-to-watch cards in that, obviously, because they hadn't all been announced yet. Now, as far as I'm aware, there are 3 cards that have been announced or kind of semi-announced, but we're only going to talk about one of those in today's video. The rest of them are going to be straight up predictions from myself. So a few things I'm just going to say before we start any of the predictions and stuff are, these are just predictions. Now these are just some players that I think might get them. These obviously aren't definite, so please don't be like, oh, such and such didn't come out, oh, you lied, clickbait. This is a prediction, so please don't think that I know all knowledge. I don't. I simply don't. And the second thing is that I have got a lot of players that I think could get one-to-watch cards. Now, I've got way more thoughts and predictions for players that will get one-to-watch than the amount that actually will get one-to-watch. So if you want to see more predictions and more players I think might be in with a chance, then you just need to let me know. You just need to leave a like on this, and you've got to let me know in the comment section if you want to see more of my predictions. So that's all you've got to do. You've just got to let me know if it's the kind of thing you want to see. But for now, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict 2 players from each sort of area of the pitch. So I'm going to start by picking 2 potential goalkeepers, then 2 potential defenders, 2 potential midfielders, and 2 potential forwards. That's what we're going to do. So without further ado, let's get in and start with our predictions of 2 potential goalkeepers. Okay, so up first is a player, a goalkeeper, that had absolutely smashed the record for being the most expensive goalkeeper of all time until 4 weeks later, it was broken. But I am talking, of course, about Alisson joining Liverpool on a £66.8 million deal from Roma. Big signing. I really do think that that is a fantastic coup for Liverpool. I predicted his card to go up to an 83. Again, the ratings and stats are just predictions on my part as well, so please don't read too much into that. Those are just my personal predictions as to what these cards will start off as. He was at Rome for 2 years. He played 37 times. He then played 31 times for Brazil as well, since he's been playing internationally. And they've got themselves a really good keeper. 22 clean sheets last season. I think it was 17 in the league and 5 in the Champions League. So I think he's, having just transferred, a really good shot for a one-to-watch, and I think one that a lot of people maybe haven't necessarily thought about. So Alisson's my first prediction. And prediction number 2 for the goalkeeper spot is one of the biggest transfers, I think, in the window. Not necessarily because of the price, but 100% because of the player, and that is Courtois going to Real Madrid from Chelsea. He's been at Chelsea since 2011, and in those 7 seasons he's played 128 times, and he's also gone out on Atletico Madrid, to Atletico Madrid I should say rather, a number of times, and played 111 times for them, so he's played there quite a lot. And obviously that did cause a big controversy with Atletico Madrid fans when in the reveal he kissed the Real Madrid badge. That was not a clever move, Thibaut. That was not smart, bro. Not at all. You've caused yourself a lot of problems. But he's played quite a bit internationally, 65 games for Belgium, and his most recent awards, he got the Golden Glove in the 2016-17 season for Chelsea, and he got the Golden Glove, I believe, at the World Cup. So you've got to argue one of the hottest goalkeeping properties right now in the world. I've also predicted him to go up to a 90. It's a tricky one. Like I said, he had a good World Cup. I reckon that's going to have helped his stats a little bit. So it's a tough one. Okay, now we are going to move on to the defenders, and we're going to start off with, I think potentially there might be a bigger one, but I think it's possibly the biggest, in my opinion, free transfer that I have seen happen this transfer window. And this is big. I think this genuinely is a big move. I'm talking about Stefan De Vrij, might be saying it wrong, De Vrij, I don't know. I'm going to say De Vrij. He has left Lazio. He's been there for 4 years, played for them nearly 100 times, 95 caps for them, on a free transfer to Inter Milan. Fantastic coup there from Milan. I think that really is a big signing. To get him on a free is unreal. A player of his quality, that's absolute quality. He signed for them on the 28th of May, and it's a 5-year contract, so he's going to be there for potentially quite a while. He's been one of those players that have kind of been on the brink of being a fantastic player for quite some time. So I think this could be a big boost for him and a big boost for the Inter Milan squad. 100%. They made some fantastic signings this transfer window. He's played for Netherlands since 2012. He's been capped 36 times. He was part of the 2014 World Cup squad, and so he's going to offer that kind of in-between level of still, I would kind of qualify him as a bit of youth, but with plenty of experience. He played at Fenerbahce while he was in Holland, so he played at some bigger teams in the leagues, and I think this is a big move for both Inter and De Vrij. Predicted an 85 rating. I think he's going to go up. And the second defender, I think it was a team that 100% needed a centre-back. 100%. And this was not a bad signing at all. Got him at a fairly good price. We are talking about Socrates. I'm saying Socrates. I'm not good with names. These defenders were not my best choice. But Socrates to Arsenal from Borussia Dortmund. He was there for 5 years, played 130 times. He's played, I think it's 79 times for Greece in the last 10 years. And you know what? Very good signing. Really good signing. He's wearing the number 5 shirt, if you're interested. He joined for £17.6 million, that or thereabout. And I don't know how long it is. I just know that it's a long-term deal. So I'm assuming something like 3 seasons maybe. But that is a fantastic coup for Arsenal. I predict him to stay at an 86 rating. Because he's a little bit on the older side, a little bit, I believe. I think he's like 29, roughly. I could be wrong. But, you know, it's a pretty good coup for him. Being at the end of his career, I think 86, he'll probably stay at that. But I think he's in with a good shout of getting some upgrades. We saw this year Mustafi got himself some upgrades for scoring goals and playing really well for Arsenal. Mustafi and Socrates, I think, would be a good pairing. I think they'd actually play very well together. So we'll have to wait and see, but Socrates is my second prediction in the defence. Into the midfield, and for this episode, this is probably my favourite of the position predictions. I think the two players here are absolutely insane. I think they're fantastic, and they're both players I want to use in FIFA 19. I want to try them at some point. But we're going to start off with one of the big transfers that I haven't really seen many people talk about. Now, it could just be in my head it's a big transfer, but I genuinely think this is a fantastic signing, and I'm talking about Arturo Vidal joining Barcelona. Now, this guy's got experience coming out of his ears, boys. He played at Juventus from 2011 to 2015, played 124 times and got 35 goals. He then joined Bayern Munich, has played 79 games with 14 goals, and since playing for Chile in 2007, which is when he started, he's got 100 caps and 24 goals. Now, he's a bit more of a holding midfielder than like an attacking midfielder, but he's got goals in him. He has got goals in him. He joined Barcelona on the 3rd of August. He signed for 19 million euros, I believe it was, roughly. I think there may have been like variables and stuff in that deal as well. But it's a 3-year contract, and I basically think he's going to come in, do the job that Busquets has been doing, but do it better and score more goals. I genuinely think Vidal is a fantastic signing. I think this was an absolutely insane coup. He seems to always get himself a special cards, like at some point, even if it's just the one. I predicted him to go up to an 88. I know I did just say about Socrates being a little bit older, and therefore probably staying the same. But I think Vidal, if anything, has maybe actually improved this season. And I don't know. It's a tricky one, but I think Vidal's a bit more world class. Sorry, Arsenal and Dortmund fans. I think Vidal's a bit more world class, and so potentially will go up to an 88. But that to me is an absolutely fantastic signing, and I think has very much been underrated. And the second player in this midfield is actually somebody that is in my current FIFA 19 beta team, and I'm absolutely loving. Very good midfielder, plays absolutely brilliantly. I think he's quality, and that is Fred, who joined Man United from Shakhtar Donetsk on the June the 5th. my birthday, my boy. He agreed to a 5-year contract with the option to extend another year as well. It cost him £52 million, so not cheap. You're looking at nearly triple the price of Vidal, but a lot more sort of life left in his career. He'd been at Shakhtar Donetsk for 5 years, played 101 games, got himself 10 goals, only got himself 8 caps for Brazil, but I think that is going to slowly start to change now that he's at a quote-unquote bigger club. I mean, Man United's a bigger club than Shakhtar Donetsk, sorry. But I think this card is going to be really, really good. With how Man United looked on their first game of the season, they looked considerably better than I expected them to play. Pogba looked on form, Pogba looked really, really good, and Fred kind of just did what he needed to do. He played really, really well, and just played how he needed to play. And I genuinely think if he can keep up that kind of work with Pogba, him and Pogba are going to get informs for days this year. So if Fred has got a one-to-watch card, then that will be fan-freaking-tastic, boys. Now we're going to move on to the last ones. We're going to look at the forwards. Now the first one, I've called this forwards because I was going to say strikers, but I've included like wingers, like attacking wingers in this section as well. So we're going to start off with Malcolm, who has joined Barcelona, second Barcelona player of this. I was going to try and do different players for each one, and I kind of ignored that. Looking at Malcolm, okay, he'd been at Bordeaux for 2 seasons. He got 84 games back and 20 goals, which isn't too bad for a wide player. He signed for Barcelona, I think it was £41 million, or 41 million euros, I think actually, on a 5-year contract. So pretty good signing for them. Now, it's a tricky one because will he play a lot this season? I think he'll come on as a sub a fair amount this season, and he might kind of start in those games where they maybe look to rest someone like Messi, or maybe rest someone like Coutinho. But I think when he plays, if he can get himself a goal or 2 or get himself a few assists, he'll get informs. It's one of those tricky ones that will he play all the time? I don't think so. But when he plays, will he get informs? Quite possibly. He's got to live up to his hype. I mean, 20 goals in 84 games is a fairly good return for a winger, like I said. But at Barcelona's level, he probably needs to add maybe another 10 goals to that. He's probably got to look at like 15 to 20 goals a season. So it's going to be tricky. It depends on how much he plays. But I think it'll be a really, really good card. I've upped him to an 83 because I think he's played really well at Bordeaux. He got team of the season last year in FIFA. I think he should be aboard like that. That's the kind of way I've looked at it. But 83 will be a nice looking card. And I think is a fairly good bet for being one of those, like, kind of like El Shaarawy was this year. One of those one-to-watch cards. I mean, he was a part of glory. But one of those one-to-watch cards that kind of come out and the player just needs to have a good game or 2. He's got that within him, and he'll get a couple of special cards. We can hope. Last but not least, a player that doesn't really need an introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. It's the one player that I think has kind of semi-been announced, but we're going to talk about him, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously joining Juventus from Real Madrid. He joined on a 100 million euro deal, and I think it's a 3-year deal. Plus they've got variables that add up to like at least 12 million euros or something ridiculous. Plus he's got the solidarity contributions, which are like fees that you pay off to clubs that Ronaldo was at while he was a kid, and all of this stuff, like educating him, all of this beautiful stuff. But fantastic signing, obviously. It's going to be mega good for them. He was at Real Madrid for 9 years. He played 292 times, 311 goals. Insane. That is like FIFA stats, boys. Insane. He's played, I think it's 154 times for Portugal, getting like 84 goals or 85 goals. So not as good return, but not as good players around him compared to while he's been at Madrid. Absolutely insane. The main thing here, if his card is a striker, boys, the EA community are going to be like, yes, EA, you did it. You did it, boys. But this is I'm fairly sure, pretty much already been announced by EA. They've released a card showing like the one-to-watch design, and Ronaldo was one of the 3 players. It's him, Goretzka, and Lamar, I believe, were the 3 players. So fairly sure Ronaldo's going to be in there. But that, boys, is that. Those are my 8 predictions for this video. Hopefully you guys agree with them. I'm fairly confident in like all of them. But my issue is I've made about 50 cards so far, and I'm fairly confident in pretty much all of them. So it's a tricky one. They're not going to release 51 to watch cards. You're looking at probably 23. So it's narrowing that down. But like I said, hopefully you agree with some of the choices I've made here. Let me know in the comment section if you think these choices are half decent. Also let me know if there's some people that you think I should look at for other episodes. It could be that I've already looked at them and I've already made their card. It could just be they didn't make it in this episode. But if you want to see more of these, make sure you smash that like button. Of course, like the video if you enjoyed it anyway. Subscribe if you are new around here. It would be greatly appreciated. We are slowly crawling our way up to 1,000 subs, which would be amazing if we can get anywhere near that for the start of FIFA 19. Would be the dream, boys. But of course, your support's insane. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope to see you all very, very soon. And of course, look after yourselves. See you later, boys.
Let's go. Hursty Games, and this how we do. Now it's time we team up. Check them online, you might catch them playing FIFA. Hey, yeah, you know we keep it live. Make sure to give a like and subscribe. Gamer channel, what's the best one? Keep it hella dope, hella fresh, huh? Yeah, Hursty Games, tune in. Even told my grandmama, sister, and my best friend. You might want to check them if you want to be entertained. You already know the name. Check us out, Hursty Games. Hey, whoop. Make sure to give a like and subscribe.